All right, let's talk about something you see and hear every single day in the tech world, the passive voice. It's literally the language of systems, documentation, and reports. Getting a handle on it, well, that's a huge level up for how you communicate professionally. So let's dive right in.
Have you ever noticed how many tech messages have this specific sound? Things like, access is denied, the patch was deployed, or passwords must be protected. You see them in system alerts, in your commit messages, security policies. They're everywhere. So what's the one thing they all have in common?
You guessed it, it's the passive voice. And the reason it's so common in tech is actually pretty interesting. It's all about shifting the focus. Instead of focusing on the person who did something, it focuses on the action or the result. Honestly, we care that the patch was deployed. We don't always need to know who deployed it.
So to really nail this down, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the core formula, then we'll build on that with a few variations. After that, we'll look at passives that describe states, clear up some really common but confusing phrases, and then we'll finish up with a quick recap and a challenge for you.
Okay, let's get started with the absolute foundation, right? The difference between the active and the passive voice. So in the active voice, it's all about the doer. The developer fixed the bug. Super clear, the developer is the hero. But in tech, a lot of the time, the bug is the main character of the story. So we use the passive. The bug was fixed. You feel that shift? The result is what matters most.
And the formula to make this happen? It's beautifully simple. You're going to love this. It is just the verb to be plus the past participle of the main verb. That's it. That's the whole engine. Fixed is the past participle of fix. Deployed is the past participle of deploy. Easy, right?
Now, here's the crucial part. That little verb be does all the heavy lifting to show the tense. If you're talking about the present, you use is or are. Think about a system message. The file is saved automatically. For the past, it's was or were. The patch was deployed last night. For the future, will be. The system will be updated tomorrow. And for something that just finished, the present perfect has been. The issue has been resolved. I mean, who hasn't seen that one in a support ticket, right?
Okay, a quick but really important warning here. You can only make a verb passive if it takes an object, like fix a bug or send an email. Verbs that don't, like happen or occur, they just can't be passive. You'd never, ever say the accident was happened. It just sounds wrong. You'd say the accident happened, or in a tech context, maybe a failure occurred.
All right, so we've got that core formula down. Now let's see how we can build on it and add a little bit of detail and nuance. So sometimes the person who did the action is important. And when you need to specify who did it, you just add a by phrase. For instance, in a code review process, it's critical to know who reviewed it. You'd say, the PR was reviewed by the senior developer. Here, the who is vital information.
But honestly, most of the time, especially in tech docs and system messages, you're going to leave it out. If the doer is obvious, or we don't know who it is, or it just doesn't matter, just drop it. The email was sent. We don't need to say by the system, right? It's cleaner, and keeping your writing concise is always a good thing.
So what if the action is happening like right this second? Well, for that, we use the passive progressive. The formula is just be plus being plus the past participle. This is absolutely perfect for live status updates. You know, when you see a loading screen, the system is probably telling you something like, the database is being backed up right now.
We also use the passive all the time with modal verbs, words like must, can, or should, to talk about rules and permissions. I mean, security policies are filled with these. Passwords must be protected. User guides love to use can. This file can be downloaded. And error instructions often use should. The error should be reported.
Okay, this next point is a bit subtle, but it's really, really important for understanding system messages. We need to talk about the difference between an action and a condition.
So a lot of phrases that look passive are actually just using the past participle as an adjective. They're describing a state. When your system says the account is locked, it's not describing the action of locking it. It's just describing the current condition of the account. It's locked. Same thing with the device is connected or the data is encrypted. It's basically a status report.
And speaking of adjectives, let's finally clear up that classic confusion between using ed and ing. The rule is actually simple. Use ed for the person's feeling. I'm confused or users are frustrated. And you use ing for the thing that's causing the feeling. This error is confusing or this bug is frustrating.
Excellent. Okay, now let's quickly tackle a few other common phrases that can really trip people up. Getting these right is going to make you sound so much more fluent.
So in conversation, maybe in a Slack channel or a team meeting, you'll hear get used instead of be all the time. It just means become, and it's a more informal way of making a passive. You might say, ugh, my account got locked. Or a teammate might tell you, the data got corrupted. It's super common and sounds really natural in spoken English.
Now for these three. They look so similar but mean totally different things. First, used to is for a past habit, something you don't do anymore. I used to use shared hosting. Be used to means you're familiar with something right now. I am used to working in Linux. And get used to is all about the process of becoming familiar. I am getting used to writing docs. And finally, here is one of the most useful phrases for any developer or QA tester. Be supposed to. This is the absolute perfect way to describe expected behavior in a bug report. You state what should happen, the button is supposed to open the form, and then you contrast it with what actually happens. But it doesn't. It's just so clear, professional, and gets right to the heart of the problem.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground. So let's do a super quick recap, and then I'm going to leave you with a challenge to put all of this into practice. So to wrap it all up, the core formula is be plus the past particle. Simple. Only use that by phrase when the doer is really important. Use being for actions that are in progress and modals for rules. When it comes to adjectives, remember, ed is for feelings, ing is for the cause. And definitely use be supposed to for writing those perfect bug reports.
Okay, now it's your turn. Here's your challenge. Try writing a little mini user guide, or maybe just a status update, just 6 sentences. I want you to include 2 passive sentences in different tenses, one with a modal, one passive progressive, one that describes a system status, and of course one supposed to sentence for a bug. This is seriously the best way to make all these concepts stick. Good luck, and thanks for joining me.